Italy's Mario Monti is leading by example, launching a €30 billion austerity plan one day early.
You will never hear me ask for a sacrifice because Europe is asking for it, and you'll never hear me blame Europe for unpopular things that we have to do.
Well, I'm going to be taking you through the developments around the Eurozone in a moment, including news of Belgium's first government in a year and a half. First, though, Mark, you've got our Europe editor with you to talk about Italy's big plan.
Yeah, David's with us. David, what are the main planks of this package announced by Monti?
Well, look, first of all, I just want to mention Monti giving up his salary as a Prime Minister and Finance Minister. Talk about leading by example. Quite a fraught press conference or news conference here, went for 2 hours yesterday. And you saw the economy minister, the pensions minister there, breaking down into tears when she was describing how they're going to delay the retirement age, that the pensions will no longer be fixed to inflation. Quite difficult sacrifices they are asking for in Italy at the moment. There's going to be a tax on first homes. This was something that Silvio Berlusconi actually got rid of, and also they're going to crack down on tax evasion. And I think one of the things they're doing is really interesting, actually. They're going to make sure that any transaction which is above €1,000, that's going to have to be electronic, so there's going to be a way of following the receipt, so it's going to make it more difficult to actually make to avoid paying taxes on those sorts of sums and anything above that. Quite interesting. Mario Monti, he's talking about not only sacrifices, but he's talking about growth. He really does want to turn Italy around.
We have, in making these provisions, we have kept at the forefront of our minds the possibility of creating the conditions for growth in Italy. So, on the one hand, we are placing our public debt under tight control, and on the other, an effort has been made not to be seen anymore as a breeding ground for contagion in Europe, but instead as a new source of strength.
And the big test, of course, is going to be this afternoon, because he's going to present what the Cabinet's approved in the Parliament.
It's a big week leading up to Friday's summit in Brussels. What differences do Merkel and Sarkozy have to overcome before that?
Still to overcome quite a bit, actually. The difficulties for them to overcome is exactly how they're going to how the sanctions for anyone who breaks the budgetary discipline, how those sanctions are going to be put into place. Now, there's going to be a working lunch where they're going to be discussing this. That starts at 12:30 London time. But there won't be a news conference afterwards, which I think is interesting, because it means that they don't actually have to decide how they're going to paper over their differences. And two, it means that they won't be coming up with a fait accompli, which they'll present to the other Eurozone ministers, because that wouldn't go down at all well either.
If a fiscal compact is agreed, Mario Draghi's words, what will the ECB do?
Right. Well, there are a number of choices for the ECB. There are some mind-boggling numbers going around there. The Financial Times, or no, the Sunday Times, I should say, talking about €1 trillion worth of extra support coming from the ECB, although they haven't actually outlined where it's going to come from. But what could happen from the ECB could happen as soon as Thursday.
What I would expect from the ECB is quite likely a rate cut. It's more a question of whether there will be 25 or 50. We think it's 25. We think there will be more non-conventional policies announced.
And non-conventional policies means maybe loans to banks as long as 3 years, also different collateral rules, but finally what we're really waiting for won't happen until the week after the summit, and that's what the ECB will do with regard to its special bond purchases.
Okay, David, thanks.